All right, bet. Let's get into it. Last week we talked about a development or coming up with some kind of name this for this podcast. Sorry, I had to hit record on the other camera over there. So we talked last week about coming up with a name for this show. So after kicking it around a little bit, I figured, man, let's just roll with what we use. I mean, on IG, on Facebook, everywhere, I am Tyrell Reed, the Pizza King. So we just gonna call this thing Pizza King Podcast, the Pizza King Podcast. So there it is. Love it, hate it. It is what it is. We rolling with it, and and there's some consistency throughout the branding. So we just gonna stick with it. I'm gonna work on all my ums and my ahs and my all that, but we're gonna get better with this every single week that we come back and we do this show. So today, just gonna get straight into it. We want to talk about something that I am passionate about, something that I am considered to be an expert in, which is team building, leadership development, and really the HR functions of a pizzeria. So topic today is how we attract, hire, and retain top tier talent for your pizzeria. Meaning, how are you going to get those high performers on your team? Like, what are you going to do to attract them to your business? How are you going to make sure that the process is smooth from attracting them to getting them on the team? And then, what are we going to do to keep them on our team and to keep them, engaged and fulfilled so that, they're high performers for you down the road. They become, leaders in your business. And, whether you're deciding to grow to 2 locations or 5 locations or 10 locations, or you're going to stick with your 1 location, that you'll always have the human resources, the human capital that you need to keep that business going and thriving. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. So getting right into it, the first thing that you got to do when you're talking about building a team that is going to build your business, that's going to help you grow your business, and that's our thing. We always say in our program, we build leaders that build businesses. Meaning, I don't build a business, I build a team, and the team builds the business, because I can't do it all by myself. No one can. You can't take the order, go in the kitchen, make the order, lock the doors, go deliver it, come back and do it all over again. That's not a scalable model. You'll be out of business before you even know it. So therefore, it's pretty obvious that you can't do this without people on your team. You got to have a team. So with that being said, how are you going to build that team? What kind of people do you want on your team? And what roles do you have in place for them to come in and thrive on your team? So those are the kind of things that you really need to be thinking about as you're putting your plan together for, especially if you're opening your first restaurant. You need to be thinking about the kind of people that are going to thrive in your environment, the kind of people that will be successful working for and with you, and the things that your environment needs to provide to these people, to these individuals, these potential people, to keep them engaged and keep them on the team, to keep them there with you, keep them on your side. So the first thing that you have to do, and the first thing that I suggest, is, thinking about how you treat the people that are currently there, especially if you're open and you're operating, how you treat the people that are currently there. That's going to play a huge role in how you attract potential, future leaders, employees, whatever positions you're actually hiring and looking for. So make no mistake, when people come into your restaurant, they notice everything. So if you have a leader that is, if you have a leader that isn't giving his all to the team, he isn't showing those qualities, or if he's one of these guys, the people see that, and you could have potentially eliminated a prospect just by the way they seen you treat somebody else in that restaurant. You think it didn't happen? Please. Like we're all customers too. Always think about what it's like on the other side of the counter. Like when you go into places, you're like, man, I can't believe that guy's in charge. Like, wow. But if you see someone who is supportive, who is, you always know, you could tell those environments where you can tell there's a leader present. You can tell that there's respect and there's engagement. Those are the kind of environments that people want to find themselves in. So, first tip for my leaders out there: if you want to attract top talent, you have to be top talent, and you have to make sure that that's on display in the way that you carry yourself, in the way that you operate your business, the way that you treat your people who are currently on your team, because all of that matters. It becomes almost a billboard for your business. Then you want to make sure that if you are hiring and you are in a crunch and you're looking for people, make sure people know that you're actually hiring. So that doesn't mean that you need to put an ad in the newspaper like they used to do, 20 years ago or 30 years ago, however long it was. But you do need to be in those places where job seekers are. You need to fish where the fish are. So if job seekers are on Indeed, or if they're looking for jobs on Facebook, or if they're scrolling on TikTok and on Instagram, those are the places where you need to be posting your jobs. You need to be running ads there. You need to make sure that you are presenting your positions in the places where the people who could fill those positions are have the potential or have the opportunity to find them. Too many times you see folks that are hiring and they haven't placed an ad. They haven't posted the job on a job board. They haven't put a sign up in the store, or on the window, or whatever it is, whatever resources you have available to you, and they all come at a different cost. So you got to do what's right within your own personal budget, but you need to make sure that you are dedicating some resources to letting people know that you actually have positions open and available. That's the main thing. And then, so after that, so you got a good leader. He's showing that this is a great environment. You have made it known that you're looking for people to fill whatever open positions that you do have. But then you also need to look at the people that are on your team internally. It's always great to have a referral program, something like that, or even just talking to the folks that say, that you look at as, high performers or potentially high performers on your team, and say, look, I like the way that you work. Do you know anybody? You got any friends looking for jobs? You got any, I try to stay away from family members, but you got anybody that that could be, that works like you and could come here and enjoy being a part of this environment. Those usually turn out to be some really good long-term folks, the folks that have come through the referral program. So let's recap that. Great environment. Make sure people know that you're actually hiring, and then talk to the people on your team. Sometimes, can't believe I didn't even say that. Sometimes the people on your team don't even know that you're looking for folks. Yeah, they could be going through the motions and look now, and that's rare because most businesses these days are shorthanded, so everybody kind of understands where the gaps are and where the opportunities are. But make sure that you let it be known that, hey, there are positions open. If it's a management position, you may have somebody on the team that's been ready to step up, but waiting on an opportunity, didn't have the confidence to come and ask. Put it out there. Let people know. Let them know that you're hiring. That way it would be way better to fill the position with somebody internal than to spend the money and the resources that it takes to attract, hire, and train an external person. So check out your team. You probably got some good folks right there on the squad. So now that you've attracted them, you got people who are interested in your job. The next thing that you need to do is really figure out your hiring process. Meaning, how do you speed up the process? And when I say speed it up, because speed is key in 2023, meaning the application needs to be fast or short. You need to have a 1-minute application, preferably on a mobile device, that allows people to quickly, see your job, apply, and begin to engage with whoever the hiring manager or person is going to be for that position. So short application. How do you shorten the time between application and orientation? Is it a 1 week process? Is it a 4-day process? Is it a 3-day process? Keep in mind, people are not just looking for your job, they're looking for a job. So every company on your street's probably hiring, and they're probably doing a lot of the same things that you're doing. So they're posting jobs in the same places. They're attracting the same type of people. How do you set yourself apart? With speed. Pay is pretty competitive across the board. You're probably paying what your neighbors are paying or a little bit better to try to attract. There's always going to be these little adjustments in the wage war, especially, between local businesses. So the one thing that you can do to give yourself an advantage is to, speed it up, speed up your process. Don't add extra layers if it's unnecessary. So if you can empower somebody to be the hiring manager after an interview, say, that's great. Look, this was great. When can you start? Someone applies to your job on a Monday and they start on a Wednesday. That gives you an advantage because they didn't just apply to your job on Monday. They applied to all 10 jobs on your street. So if someone else is taking 2 days to get back, if they haven't responded to an application, those things matter. Also, really a major component of this is the way that you communicate through this process as well. The telephone is dead. That whole, we'll call you for an interview. These kids don't answer the phone anymore. You got to text. So you have to be able to, text to schedule interviews, text to, communicate schedules, text to, really just, that's really the way that the generation that you're hiring communicates now. They're not going to listen to a voicemail because that's what you left a voicemail. Hey, I want to get you come in on Tuesday for an interview. This is Tyrell calling from West Shore Pizza. Saw your application. They never going to hear that. They never going to hear that. Text them and they will text you back. You could text them. They'll text you back and then you call them and they're still not going to answer the phone. So just text. I had a stat and I don't have it in front of me, but it was like 1 out of 10 will reply to a phone call or respond to a voicemail, but 8 out of 10 will reply to a text message. And, when scheduling an interview, that's important. So don't skip out on the importance of texting as your main or your first form of communication. That doesn't mean don't still leave that voicemail, but you need to make sure that you include text. That is very important. Email, don't even waste your time. Don't even waste your time. I see these folks, and it's not like me. I'm like all about my email because I'm in an executive position, so I have to stay on top of it. Try to make sure my inbox is clear as much as possible so that I'm not falling behind on my work. But I'll see folks, and you catch that glimpse of somebody's phone, and Apple has the icon with the mail. 40,000 emails, 35,000 emails. They're not reading that email. Don't even waste your words on that. Use email for something else. Email to market or do whatever you want to do. Don't use email as a way of communicating with potential hires. It's ridiculous. Don't even do it. So there's a couple of quick tips on really just shortening up your hiring process, making sure that you're getting folks on quickly, and and giving yourself some sort of competitive advantage over the folks around you in your community. So then you've attracted them, you've hired them, you like them, they like you, you get to them, you hire them, you get them on board. How are you going to keep them? What's your plan for retaining this talent? And this is really where this is the most important part. Retaining talent is as important as anything. Just like the business, like it's it's easy to get business, it's hard to keep it. That's something that we like to say around our business all the time. It's easy to get business. Getting business is a numbers game. We put out so much in marketing, or however many pieces, or, you know, certain number of impressions turns to clicks, and, you know, all these different things. Business is a number, gaining business is a numbers game. Keeping business is the hard part. And that's where, you know, like keeping the business, you need to have great service, great customer service. Keeping your team together, really those same rules tend to apply. What kind of environment are you bringing these folks into? Is this an environment that promotes growth and development? That's what folks are looking for. Outside, I mean, money's important. You need to be competitive with your pay. I don't want to skip over that. But money's not the end all be all when it comes to keeping folks on your team. Development is important. You know, safe, fun, engaging environment is so important. Do they have a leader who supports them? Do they have a leader who they feel like they can talk to? They can raise their hand, ask questions, get help. All those things start to matter. So you need to have a great plan in place for development. You ever see or ever worked for a company that has all of these positions and it seems like it's useless? Like you got a team member, you got a trainer, you got a catering manager, you got a front door manager, you got a prep manager, you got a back of house assistant, you got a back of house kitchen manager, you got an assistant kitchen manager. Why do we develop all those positions? We develop all of those positions to keep people engaged and developing and on a path towards whatever their goal is. So you put people into these positions because having a position gives you ownership. You own your role. Your role is important to our business. Make sure they understand that. And this is how important it is. So important that we develop this role for you. What you've done to our catering program is, you know, set us up to be successful for years to come. You are our catering manager. What do you need to continue? What do you need to be successful in this position? So make sure that there's a path. Always give your folks a path. Not everyone knows that they want to be, not everyone wants to be a manager. And some folks have great potential to be managers and don't know that they want that, or don't know that that's in the cards for them. So give them a path, give them growth opportunities. Make sure that folks have opportunities for just continued development, both in job related skills and non-job related skills. Don't skip over that. People need development in skills that help them in life, not just, you know, skills that help them sell more pizzas for you. One of my big things is financial literacy. So my brother wrote a really good book on financial literacy. It's really geared towards high school students. So I'd like to give it out to all of my managers. Anyone that, you know, becomes into a management position with me, I always give them a copy of his book, just to give them a little bit of motivation, a little bit of insight on managing their finances, you know, setting themselves up for, you know, a successful life as an adult. Retirement isn't something that kids are thinking about at 18, 17, 18, 19 years old, but it's a seed that can be planted right from the beginning, and it's valuable. But there's so many different ways to give folks the things that they want. You know, talk to them, get to know your team, because you'll find out that you have people that are talented in so many different areas. We have a kid now. We just talked to him the other day. And I had no idea. My fault. Had no idea. Very skilled graphic designer. I'm like, Andrew, why didn't you say something? So now what is he doing? We give him an opportunity. Hey, we've been working on trying to set some new templates up for our email marketing program. Is that something you'd be interested in doing? Oh yeah, I'd love to do it. Now he has something that keeps him engaged, and it's related to the job, but it's also related to something he's passionate about. You know what I mean? Those are the kind of things that keep people engaged and keep people coming back. Having a good referral program, making sure that when you refer, people stay a whole lot longer than people who weren't, because they have people that they know and they are familiar with on your team. They've been validated by somebody else that, hey man, it's a great place. You might want to come do this. What's going on over here? You don't want to miss this. Come join the team. So, you know, referrals are key. You got to have a referral program. Whatever the right incentive is for that person or for that group, do it. If it's money, if it's, I don't know, if it's books, if it's trips, if it's time off, pay time off. There's so many different ways to keep folks engaged. So make sure all of your incentives are relevant to the folks that you're providing them for. Not everybody's motivated by money. You can't do a pizza party in a pizza shop. They don't want that. So just find what's relevant for your squad and do what you can to take care of your people. But hey, it's been a good one. Love y'all. Appreciate you watching again. Pizza King Podcast, episode 2. Come on back. We giving all the tips that we can on building our pizza businesses the right way, taking care of our teams, building leaders that build businesses. Holla back.